Hi, Hemakumar sir. Are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Um,
Okay, just a minute. We'll start immediately.
yeah,
Bavadarni?
So, shall I start?
Yeah.
Good morning, one and all. I wholeheartedly welcome all the respected faculties and my dear friends who are here to attend this webinar section. In this section, we are going to learn about design and critical thinking. Design thinking is an approach used for practical and creative problem solving. Critical thinking is a method of analyzing ideas data collected to evaluate the situation from different perspectives and arrive at an unbiased optimum situation. And I hope in the end of the section you will gain knowledge regarding design and critical thinking. Now I would like to invite Mr. M. Karthikeyan, IEV second year, to deliver the welcome address.
A very happy morning and warm greetings to the bunch of brainy crew gathered over here. It's a great pleasure for me to welcome you all for the session 1 of Impact Lecture Series Phase 1 on Design and Critical Thinking, organized by Puducherry Technological University, Institutions Innovation Council, and MOE's Innovation Cell. We all know that design thinking is a mindset of combining creative and analytical thinking and applying it towards solving a specific problem. And through this workshop, we hope to create a great understanding and knowledge on design and critical thinking.
Thank you, Karthikeyan. Now, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. B. Hemakumar sir, convener of IIC, to deliver the presidential address.
A very good morning to one and all present over here. So today we are here for the expert lecture on design and critical thinking. We all know that we solve many problems in our real life. So this particular design thinking is yet another way of problem solving. More than a way, it's a mindset. Design thinking is a mindset of approaching problems in the perspective of the user. Okay, so today we have with us Vetrikumaran, a very trained person who has experienced in the field of design thinking. He is also a consultant for many business. We are very happy to have Vetrikumaran, and he's the most apt person. He's going to discuss about, or he's going to interact with you about this design thinking. So hope you all enjoy this session, and at the end of the session we'll have a small assessment. Okay, so based on that assessment, and we'll be also issuing certificates. Okay, thank you, Bhavadharani.
Thank you, sir, for setting the surrounding with your wonderful speech. Now, I would like to invite Miss Sastika, IEV second year, to deliver the chief guest introduction.
Welcome to one and all present here. I feel extremely honored and jubilant to introduce the resource person of the Impact Lecture Series Phase 1, Mr. Vetrikumaran Ananthasayanam, who is an eminent product marketing consultant, product manager, business development manager, and a design thinking trainer. He has a wide industry experience in consulting services. He has served as a business development manager in a Berger Paints India Limited and has a product consultant in Big Picture Labs and currently serving as a product marketing consultant at Leap 247 Finnovation Private Limited. With respect to his teaching experience, he has served as a visiting lecturer in Pondicherry Technological University for MBA in 2021 and also constituted as a UX design facilitator at Clever Harvey. His interest is extended with books and podcasts related to startup, design thinking and innovation, product management, behavioral economics, psychology, technology, and entrepreneurship. He has volunteered the product management for product growth, which is an initiative by ACEL India, and has organized communities and interest groups for book club at BIM Trichy for talks on books, fitness, and product management. We are very grateful to Mr. Vetrikumaran for accepting our invitation and marking his presence here. So now I invite him to take over the session.
Thank you, Sastika. Good to meet many of you after a long time. I know many names here. Thanks, Professor Hemakumar, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. It's an honor to take part in this Impact Lecture series, and I'm really happy to meet a lot of old faces here. I've taught you design thinking. I hope there are others as well in the call who would also, I mean, you would definitely, those who have already gone through this design thinking course would definitely get a refresher and will get some new insights from this talk. And those who are joining new and those who are new to design thinking will also get a perspective of what design thinking is all about, and why you need to use it in the business, why you need to use it as an entrepreneur, and why you could use it as an employee of an organization, right? So let me share my screen. Yeah, hope all of you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before we start this session, okay, so I would like people here in this call to think about this. Okay, so there is a rising cost in school education, right? So all of us know this is, there is no there's nothing to prove this point that there is the school education cost is rising. So so as parents, like I'm a parent too, there are you could be future parents, and you might be having your cousins, and if you are a student you might be having your cousins and others. You would be witnessing how the school education cost is rising, right? So now people pay anywhere between even the middle class and the upper middle class pay anywhere between 50,000 to, or even like say if you take a lower range, say 25,000 to 5 lakh or 6 lakhs per year for school education, right? So how to make quality education affordable to the masses? This is a problem that we have, right? So can you think of ways how you will deal with this problem? You can put this in the chat, or you can take over the mic and speak if you'd like to. Can you put this in chat?
Mitri, you're asking about rising cost of school education.
Yes, the rising cost of school education, and this is the
Okay, how
we
to
all
make,
know that's a problem, right? So
yeah,
how do we make quality education affordable to the masses, right? I want people to think about how to approach this problem. It's not about what is this. It's not about the solution. What I'm thinking of, what I'm asking you to think about is how do you approach? What is the approach you will take to solve this problem? Anyone on the call would like to speak? Okay, so I got one comment from Professor Hemakumar. Others, think about the approach. What is the approach you will take to solve this problem? Suppose you are given this problem, right? You are given this problem. It is a complex problem. You are given this problem. What is the approach you will take? Yes, yes, Ragul, Raj.
You can unmute and talk, students.
Come on, guys. We have gone through this over a semester. Others, like apart from who have already undergone design thinking course, others, any idea what would you do? What will be your approach? Standardized coaching class in both private. Okay. Okay. Right. So we've got a few solutions here, but what I was looking for is the approach, right? So what will we do when we are given this problem? That is the approach that we take, right? Identifying the root cause of the problem. Okay, very good. Okay, how will you do this? Right. So when we are given a problem, the immediate thing that all of us do, okay, including myself, right, would the immediately our mind keeps thinking about some solution or other, right? So we immediately come over, think about some problem. This is why this is not happening, right? So government policy needs to be corrected. Private and public schools need to be made equal. They are not equal now, right? So some problem comes up to our mind, and then we immediately start thinking about solutions. Okay, so rather than doing that, so design thinking is a process which helps you delve deeper into the problem and then try to find solutions for it, find multiple solutions for it, and then pick a solution and implement the solution, test the solution, and then implement the solution, right? So it is a structured process of how to approach a problem, okay, whether it is an easy problem or it could be a complex problem. Okay, how do you approach a given problem, right? In the that is where design thinking comes into play. And so what is design thinking? Again, you can unmute yourself and answer. Many of you who have already undergone the course know this very well, and I'm starting from the beginning so that it also benefits others who have not undergone a design thinking course yet. So what is design thinking? You need not say the book definition or any definition somebody has already written. You could talk about what you understand from this word design thinking. Are you putting it in the chat? If you're putting it in the chat, I'll have a look at that. How you look into problems. Yes. The mindset, right? Solving the problems. Yes. Solve problem by understanding the needs of the people. Okay, this is more precise. Problem solving technique to improve the product level. Okay, this is when it is applied to a particular industry. Okay, when you're trying to create a product, right? Prioritizing customer needs. Okay, approach for quality education. Big screen which covers most students application. Okay. Okay, that's a good solution somebody has posted for the previous question. Right, so innovating, creating a new module, creatively solving a problem, understand what customers want, and process of creating problem solving. Right. Okay. Yeah. Great. So all of you are right. Okay, so it is all of this. It is all of this, right? So it is a creative. Okay, it is an approach or a method. Okay, which helps you to creatively solve problems. Okay, so keeping in mind the real needs of your customer, right? So you could be anybody, right? You could be a social enterprise, or you could be a for-profit enterprise. Okay, you could be a startup or a corporate, could be anyone. But if you have a problem, okay, how do you creatively solve for that problem? Okay, keeping the needs of who your customer is in mind, and at the same time creating so if you are creating a product, you're creating a value to the customer, and you are also creating a market, right? You are also creating a market. So if it is a new product, you are creating a market. Okay, so it is all that, right? So and I think I've asked this question even during my even during our this thing, your course, design thinking course. So how many of you think you are creative? How many of you think you are creative? So it is a way to process for creative problem solving. Somebody says yes. So how many of you think you are creative? Yeah, you can raise hands. There are 84 people in the call. Come on, people, you can raise your hand. You can use this. Yeah. Okay. Right. So there are about 10 people. Okay. So it's roughly about 12%. Only 12% of you think you're creative. What about the rest of you? Okay. Now more hands are raising. Awesome. From the way it goes, it looks like around 25% to 50% of people think they are creative. Okay. But I mean, some of you, I also realize some of you would not have raised your hands, but you think you are creative, right? So, but in reality, so every one of us, each one of us is creative. Okay. So each one of us is creative, and we can employ creative techniques to find solutions for our problems, to delve deeper into our problems and find solution to our problems. Every one of us is creative, right? So and what is innovation? Okay, design thinking. One more thing I missed about design thinking is it's a way to create innovation, right? So it's a way to create innovation. Okay, so the way I think about design thinking is it's in between a creativity and innovation, right? So it's something, it's a tool which enables to use your creativity to innovate, right? So that is the way I think about design thinking, right? So what is innovation? So innovation is, you all know, so there are various definitions out there. So innovation is you're creating something new and then you are bringing it to the market, right? So you're creating there is again various innovations available: incremental innovation, right? And then disruptive innovation, and various innovations are there, right? So anything new, okay, the new an old an existing product, any improvisation you make on that an existing product or a process or a system, right? So you are making any improvisation on that, that is, that is in a way which creates real value. So that is innovation. And or if you are making making something really new, right? So you're even creating a new market or a new product, right? So that kind of which also creates value, and that is again innovation, disruptive innovation, right? So so it's creativity, innovation, and in between we have this process called design thinking, right? So what is design thinking? Design thinking is a process of creative problem solving, right? So it is a very human centered approach, keeping the human needs, okay, the way human work, considering human behavior, the actual human behavior, and the way human mind works. Okay, we are creating solutions according to that. We are not asking somebody to follow our solutions. We are rather observing and finding how people behave, how people think, and we create our solutions according to that, right? So it's a very human centered approach. It is very, very collaborative. Okay, without collaboration, design thinking doesn't exist without collaboration, right? So it's a very collaborative process, and it is of course a very optimistic process, right? So you need to think, you need to believe that there are solutions that exist for problems, right? And you also need to believe that there could be multiple solutions. If we think about, if we come out, if we ideate, if you create, we can create more solutions, we can create a lot of solutions, and we can pick a few good solutions to test and then implement the best solution, right? So so it is very optimistic process, and it is also experimental, right? So you are creating a lot of experiments when you're testing out, you're creating a lot of experiments, right? So it's very experimental, and it is iterative, and not it is not a linear process. Okay, you have these steps, right? So it doesn't mean that you have to go one after another, or it just after all the steps are over, the process is over. It is not linear. Okay, it is a very iterative process. You can maybe you can start from anywhere according to how you have understood the problem and what solutions you have thought about, right? So but for something that is very new, a new problem, or a new goal or objective that you have, you start from your empathy states, right? So but you always come back. Okay, so you can you from so if you move to from one stage to another stage, you keep moving, right? So it is always iterative. So you take feedback, you again talk to people, you try to understand more. Okay, so it is a very iterative process. So, right. And before getting deeper into what design thinking is, okay, I would also like to emphasize, since many of you are students of entrepreneurship, right? So what I would like to emphasize here is design thinking isn't the only one. Okay, so you can ask, if I have a problem, or I need to create a product, or I need to create a company, I need to be an entrepreneur, is design thinking the only process that is available? No, right? So design thinking is not the only process. There are various other processes that are available. Okay, so there is a process called there is a method called effectuation. Okay, so what effectuation actually says is, you first understand who you are, okay, what you know, and the people and the network that you know. Okay, with this, you go out, and then you create something. Okay, and then you go out, you find out partners, okay, who can help you, and what the method actually says is, you don't have to predict the future. You just need to control your present. Okay, you need, yeah. So usually in businesses, people say that in business planning, okay, in business planning say that you have to predict the future, so in order to control it, right? So effectuation takes the opposite view. Effectuation says that uh, you have to just control the present, okay, and create the future. Okay, you need not predict the future, right? And discovery driven planning. So here, what this method tries to do is, you have your assumptions, right? When you are starting something, when you're starting a business, you have a lot of assumptions. Okay, you think this will work, or this is this, you have a lot of assumptions, right? So assumptions, as a ratio, when you take it with knowledge, okay, so assumptions are always high and knowledge is always less. Okay, this method is talking about how to reduce this numerator, okay, and increase this denominator, how to increase your knowledge and how to decrease your assumption, right? So that is basically this process. Then you have prescriptive entrepreneurship. So prescriptive entrepreneurship, uh, what basically it says is, you as an entrepreneur, you have to always search for, if you're searching for ideas, if you're searching to start something, always search in the areas that you are already familiar with. Okay, so if I have worked in like the construction material industry, right? So if I have worked in the cement industry, the paint industry, and other industries, other similar industries, the ideas that I should look for is in a similar places, right? So maybe I can partner with someone. It also says you can partner with someone and expand this area. Okay, so I can partner with someone who's working in, who was working in an FMCG industry, and now I have a even broader area to look at, to search for. Okay, so that is basically the what prescriptive entrepreneurship says. Then all of you know how business planning works, right? So you have goals, you have strategies, and all that, right? So you know how business planning works, and many of you must be familiar with the lean startup methodology as well, right? So, and then you have design thinking, right? So how design thinking started, right? So design thinking isn't something really new. So if you look at innovation, right? So how people have thought about innovation, and have they thought about it in steps? Yes, they have thought about it in steps or stages. Okay, these are I'm not going to go through each of these are just various models that were there previously, before design thinking came. But design thinking is something we really need to appreciate. That many of you must be non-designers here. There might be few designers in this group, but we need to really appreciate the designers, right? So design thinking is basically how designers had been using this process. Okay, they had been using this process intuitively, they had been using this process for a long time. Okay, and that process that a designer naturally uses, okay, that is what is given as design thinking now. Okay, as steps, it is elaborated as various steps, so that it is easier for non-designers to follow, right? I'll show you how designers have okay, I'll play a video. I hope you will be able to listen to this, or you can read. Are you able to hear it? Are you able to hear this?
No, sir.
Okay, so if you aren't able to hear it, you can. Okay, I'll first brief what the problem is, right? So this person called Alexandro Aravena, I don't know how his name is pronounced. So he's from Chile. So he's talking about, he's an architect. He's talking about architects are basically again designers, right? So they are designers. So an architect, how an architect is given a problem. So there are about 100 families in a northern city in Chile. Where they have occupied a land in the center of the city illegally. Okay, so now they are asked to. There are social housing. You understand what is social housing, right? So people are given houses. People who live in slums and other people are given houses and they are asked to live there, right? So this person is asked to create social housing for these people. Okay, so what is happening is these people are in the center of the city and they don't want to. I mean, this phenomenon you can witness anywhere, right? Even in Chennai and other places, when you are always where the slums are usually there in the center of the city. When these people are asked to move to outskirts, they don't move because their livelihood is there in the center of the city. They go to a job, they have some business, they have some small business or whatever. There are some vendors of something, their businesses, their network, everything is located in the center of the city. So they don't want to move to the outskirts or outside where this thing is given. So that is one problem. The second thing is these people have a very limited budget. They are given like this was a 2014 video. So it was 10 years back, 2004 it happened. So they were given like $10,000 to buy the land, build the infrastructure, and then also to build the houses, right? So there is a very limited budget. So for 100 families, they were only able to think of a house which is like 40 square meters. Okay, only that much they are able to afford this with the money. And with that, if they are going to have 100 families, okay, they can either go for your thatched roof houses, or you can have like row houses, or you can have like a little bit high rise buildings, right? So like apartments. But these people have all said that they don't want high rise building, they don't want apartments. If you put us there, we will go on a hunger strike, right? So that is the demand from the people. Okay, and this is the solution they came up with. I'm sorry. Hmm. Okay, so this is what they designed is what the solution they came up with is they created a house which is expandable. Okay, so they can afford only, the government can afford only 40 square meters of house, right? That is this. But they kept it expandable. Okay, so they have given a and they let the family themselves do it. Look at this one. Okay, so you have like a frame, right? So half of it is built and half of it is just frame. Now the remaining part, the people themselves have constructed. Okay, so they know that the families, they do not want to move out of the city. So even if you give 40 square meters and a frame, they will do it themselves, right? So that is it's a very innovative solution, think considering the needs, considering the needs. You Design thinking is all about these three circles, right? They talk about um, your desirability, feasibility, and viability, right? So what do you desire? Okay, what are the needs? And then what is feasible? What can be done? Okay, in this case, only 40 square meter house can be given. There's no other there's there's no more money. Okay, and or what is technically feasible? Feasibility is about technical feasibility. Viability is about whether it is viable as a business, or whether it is viable in whether it makes sense in the economically. Okay, so this 40 square meter house, so all the money you have, so the viability is covered. The feasibility, this is technically feasible, so they thought they'll give a frame and then they let other people construct, the people themselves construct it, right? So it's a very this is this person is doesn't talk about himself as a design thinker. He doesn't say that he's a design thinker, he's just a designer. Okay, he's an architect. Okay, but he has actually applied design thinking principles, right? So um, the reason why I wanted to share this is okay. So right, so did you get that part, that video part? So it's basically it's an innovative solution that this person had created. This architect had created. Okay, so considering the problems that the government has, and the people in the illegal housing had, right? And what and their expectations and their needs, right? Considering that, it was an innovative solution was created. The reason why I was showing that video is that is to be appreciative of what designers think naturally, and how they come up with solution, and that is what is being designed as a process called design thinking now, right? And then I'm sorry.
So you're not sharing any screen.
Yeah,
Only
I'll
you.
share my screen. Sure. Right, so this is how I but the problem is when I share the screen, I'm not able to see whether I'm there online or not. That is okay. And yeah, so so when was this applied to business? Okay, so designers had been using this intuitively, and they had been using this for a long time. But when did this started? When was this applied in business, right? So when these three gentlemen, David Kelly, okay, Martin Robert, and then Tim Brown. When these three people were working in PNG on a problem, that is when they started thinking about how to use the same principles and the ways designers think to business, right? And so I was talking about the method. Um, I was talking about the method of design thinking. So whenever you think about a method, when you think it in terms of these three things, the logic, model, and the tactics, so it is very useful, right? So what does what logic does the model have, and the method have? What is the model or the process, and what are the tactics? Okay, the logic design thinking says is adoption of the systematic approach to problem solving, to problem formulation and validation, increases the likelihood of innovative solution in line with the needs and wants of users, right? So and the steps in the process, that is a model, and the various tactics, right? Various things that you have called observation, uh, empathy map, okay, brainstorming, all these things are tactics used, right? And let me go a little fast. So what is the model, or we know the logic now, so what is the model or process in this case? Okay, now every now and then let me come out of the screen share mode so that I can see my internet status as well. So please don't mind that. right? Then what is okay, so this is from Tim Brown's 2008 HBR article. Okay, so he had only 3 steps: the inspiration, the ideation, and the implementation part, right? So inspiration itself encompasses both the empathize stage and the define stage. Okay, and the ideation, he had ideation itself encompassed the ideating part, the prototyping part, and the testing part. And then he had implementation, right? So he had only like 3 steps, right? And many people add steps or remove steps, right? So but let us, for simplicity's sake, take the popular thing, which is the 5-step model, right? So where you have empathize, then you have define, ideate, and then you have prototype and test, right? So there are various names as well for people use various names for each of these steps or stages, right? And then so let me now give a few examples, so that the process itself is understood more intuitively. Okay, so design, so this is somebody in Cambodia found out that people in Cambodia are iron deficient. Okay, so initially they, after thinking about various things, they thought they'll give some iron blocks which people can use in their cooking, so that this iron deficiency gets rectified, right? So but this iron, they found out later that this iron blocks people were not using for cooking. Okay, this is a very human centered solution, this thing that you see on screen. So they were not, since the blocks were, they were not using for cooking, they were instead used for used as this door stops in many houses. Okay, so they were surprised to find that out, and then after that they came up with this thing. Okay, because this Cambodians believe that believe the fish is a symbol of luck, right? So they are ready to use that in the cooking, and this fish is made up of iron and electrolytes and all that, and they gave those to the people and asked them to use in the cooking, and people started using it. Okay, so it's a very human centered way to understand what people's beliefs are, and then apply that in the solutions, right? So this is another one, where this is that was iron deficiency, and this was iodine deficiency. People in women in India were found to be deficient in iodine. Again, it created a lot of problems, health issues, so they wanted to solve that. So they added a coating of iodine in their this thing bindi. Okay, again, this is very much in line with the everyday behavior, right? So it's very human centered. So they are not asking people to change their behavior, go and add more salt in your food. Okay, that they are not. So they have just designed a very keeping the behavior of natural behavior of people in mind, which is also benefits them, benefits their health, right? So and somebody created shoes. Okay, so this, when people, when children don't have enough resources, okay, they are from very poor background, they don't have any money to buy shoes, they don't have any shoes at all. If you want to donate shoes, you cannot do it too often, right? So but children's feet keep growing. So how do you solve the that problem, right? So somebody created a shoe which can expand in 5 sides. Okay, so this side, this side, this side, and this on the top. And as children keep growing, they can keep wearing the shoe for a longer time, right? And then you have your incubator. This many of us would already be knowing, right? So many hospitals can't afford to have this incubator thing. So somebody had developed this thermal pod kind of thing, where babies can be put in and they can be monitored. Okay, it's a very simple solution, and then but very effective, and Likewise, you can have laptops for children who don't have enough resources, right? So then you have this life straw, you have this way to transport water or take water for everyday use from I mean villages, people or in rural areas where there's no water facility available. So people can use this method instead of carrying it over the head or over the shoulder or over the hip, right? So this was actually done for two things. One is to transport water, and the other one is to also preserve the dignity of women, girls and women. Okay, and then this one is a very interesting one where okay, people found that a lot of, say, we are in Pondicherry, and we all a lot of people eat fish, right? So if you go to fish market, the fisherwomen and the fishermen there would um, tell you that this particular fish that you ask for is not available during a particular month, right? They'll say this month it's not available, right? So but that doesn't happen in urban areas, right? So I think in Pondicherry also getting closer to that stage, right? So in Chennai, in Bangalore, people all want one same kind of fish during all the months, right? Because of that, a lot of overfishing happens, and because of that, the marine ecosystem itself gets disturbed. Okay, so how do you solve this problem? Okay, so you cannot you have to, so the solution for this is you cannot just when demand is there, people will fish, will do overfishing. Okay, the solution has to come from the demand side. People have to stop asking for those fish, right? So somebody created this calendar, okay, with fishes, and they say for during a particular month, these are the fish you can prefer and these are the fish you can avoid, right? So this can be used at home and restaurants and all the other places where fish is cooked. So I was asking, this is a place I was in when when I found out that the internet got broken. So okay, so I was asking, what do you think this thing is? What do you think this is? You can put that in the chat. What do you think this thing is? What is this? I took this from some place, right? So I took this from some place. Sorry, where is that? Okay, I took this from some website. So what do you think this is? What service is? What is this? Is this a service or is this a product, or like what are they trying to do here? Are you all able to hear me? Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Yeah.
But we are only seeing your face actually. Screen, you're not sharing the screen, right?
Oh, screen.
You told like initially when I share the
Yeah,
screen,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
able to see the net. After that, you're not shared till now.
Okay. I'm sorry. Then I have to go back and. So please feel free to intervene me and tell me these things. I didn't notice that I'm not sharing.
Okay.
So I was in a hurry to get back and again go through those slides.
Okay.
So we were talking about this. Okay, we were talking about this, right? So we were talking about this is where I was showing that video, and after that I was talking about these three gentlemen and in terms of logic, model, and tactics. So how you see design thinking as design thinking need not be only those defined steps. It can, if it encompasses all the things that you are expected to do in design thinking, then it could, then the steps can be less or more, right? So this is what Tim Brown had in its HBR article. And then for simplicity's sake, we take all these 5 steps, right? So this is what I was talking about, this Cambodian example, right? So this Cambodian example, I hope all of you heard that. And then this is that Bindi example I was talking about, right? So iodine, and this is that shoe that I was talking about. So this is a sorry, this is a shoe, and the this incubator solution, children laptop. Then you have live straw for drinking clean water, right? And then you have the way to transport these drums, which are easy to transport water, and then this calendar, fish calendar. So I was asking about this. I was asking about this. What do you think this thing is? I hope it's visible now. What do you think this thing is? Come on, let's move quicker, because I have a lot of things to cover. So what do you think this thing is? Dr. Hemakumar, is it okay if we extend it by another like 15-20 minutes?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
take it. Okay.
What do you think this thing is? I'm not getting anything on chat, or if,
Like society is mainly of families. Families are again comebacks to individuals.
no, I'm just asking you to guess. I don't. I'm sure, but like this is not very explanatory, or like you cannot get it immediately after seeing it. I'm just asking you to guess what this thing is. What could be the service, or what could be the product, or okay. So this is an organization in Chennai. Okay, and this is run by a Japanese woman. So you must all be aware that I think most of you would be aware that this, what do you call that? What is that? What is that game called? This frisbee game called um, Ultimate Frisbee, right? So this Ultimate Frisbee. Okay, so Ultimate Frisbee is a popular game, and a lot of people play it in the beaches, especially this Besanagar beach. Okay, so this lady created this organization. Okay, so which it's a very inclusive game. This Ultimate Frisbee is a very inclusive game. It includes men and women play together as a team. It's not like men separately and women separately. Men, women, and children from children, also from people who are who are the so-called haves and have-nots. Everybody. It's a very inclusive game. So they teach this game to children in the community there, in the fishing community there. Okay, and then and then in turn they inculcate a lot of values in them, and a lot of the problems of the youth are solved by using this game, right? So, and that is also many of these things that you see, right? So many of these things that you see, formally or intuitively, they have applied design thinking, right? They have applied design thinking. We also apply design thinking in our everyday lives, and somewhere it is not that we don't. We all use design thinking. So but when you have a structure, when you keep this in mind, it becomes a lot easier to apply that whenever we face problems and when we try to find out solutions, right? Likewise, your everyday activities, anything that you take, okay, from getting up in the morning to brushing, okay, and then your financial activities, your for medical purposes, okay, for designing education, for again uh, in sports, right? So for women's safety, for solving water problem, for solving the financial problems, like transferring money from one thing to another, one person to another, right? So for everywhere design thinking is used, and design thinking can be used, right? And we can also use design thinking to ourselves, right? So anything that um, we can apply that to ourselves, to the problems that we have, and find out solutions, right, as a person, right? Then okay, this is sort of a collage. I kind of created this collage. Okay, it's kind of a collage. It's not a collage exactly, right? But I'll try to this looks very chaotic. I'll try to make sense of this. Okay, so what is design thinking? We all saw that it's a process, a method. Okay, it is also a mindset. Okay, it is also a culture, right? It is also a culture. If you have it in your organization, it is a culture, right? And what does it need? Okay, what does it use? What does it need? Okay, we already spoke about creativity, we spoke about innovation. Okay, and then we also kind of spoke about optimism and determination. We need to be determined to find out a solution, right? So we need to have that. We need to collaborate. This also we spoke about. We need to collaborate. Then experimenting, right? So you need to experiment, right? And it is a very iterative process. You need to keep iterating, right? And then what do you need for this? You need observation skill. You need to observe, you need to listen. Okay, you need to have a bias for action. You need to go and act, right? It is a very human centric thing, focus on human values, right? So right, so you in this part of the chart, you can find out I'm talking about a lot of thinking and reasoning. So what are these, right? So why do you need these? Okay, abundance mentality. Okay, so why do you need abundance mentality? You only when you have abundance mentality, you can think about, okay, you can create abundant solution, lot of solutions, right? When you are in your ideate stage, you think about a lot of solutions. So creating a lot of solutions, for that you need abundance mentality. Then you uh, think from first principles, always think from the basics, right? Always think from the basics. And then Socratic thinking, you ask multiple whys, right? Multiple so what's, and that is kind of Socratic thinking. Then you have abductive reasoning. Okay, so you don't have the whole picture in place, right? So you have this deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, and abductive reasoning. Design thinking uses abductive reasoning. You don't have the whole picture in place, but from that, even though you don't have whole picture in place, you try to find out solutions from that. Okay, innovative solutions from that. And then so here today's topic also had this critical thinking. So what is critical thinking? What is lateral thinking? Okay, and how does this fit with this thing, design thinking? So critical thinking is more about trying to define your problem properly. Okay, you're trying to find the problem properly. Okay, that is critical thinking. What is lateral thinking? You already know what the problem is, then you try to create a lot of solution. That is lateral thinking. So design thinking uses both these. It uses both critical thinking and lateral thinking. Then you have systems thinking. You think about various systems. Initially we spoke about education system, right? So education system, when you think about education system, you think about various stakeholders there. You think about the government, you think about the private schools, you think about government schools, you think about people who are already working in the education system trying to correct it. Okay, you think about parents, you think about children. Okay, you create a complete system, systematic systems understanding of this whole ecosystem, right? Then that is systems thinking. Then so you use all these, right? So there are few other things which I'll skip for now. And you have to challenge your assumptions, right? So when you're creating different when you're creating insights, right? So when you're creating insights also you could do that, and when you're ideating also you do that. You have to challenge your assumptions. And then you have to navigate ambiguity in this process. There will be a lot of ambiguous things, right? So everything will not be very clear. You have to still navigate that. And then you need to have like a do mentality. That is the prototyping mentality. Show, don't tell, right? That kind of a mentality. Then you have to have a beginner's mindset. So when you're going and approaching something, though you might understand what you say, you are doing an interview, you might understand what that why that problem is happening for that person, but still you want to understand it from that person's mouth, right? So you have to have that beginner and beginner's mindset and understand it as a beginner. And then you need to be patient, you need to have compassion for others, you need to do trial and error, communicate deliberately, learn from others, improvise. Okay, step out of your comfort zone, be mindful of the process, and you should not be fear of failure, should not have fear of failure, should not love the solution that you have created, and you should not blame and find fault, right? So, and then overall, and you can see these things, right? So design thinking lies between all these things. It is a divergent, it moves from a divergent and a convergent process, and then it moves from chaos to order, right? So there is a lot of chaos when you go and try to explore things. Then when you synthesize everything, then there is an order, right? So it fluctuates between these two things. Okay, and then it is a way to deconstruct and reconstruct. It is contract and abstract, it is structured, and then there is fluidity as well, right? So that overall is design thinking. And overall it is a very fun and inspiring method. Okay, so you'll never get bored of it, right? So I recently read a quote which said that if you are um, if you're not bored, right, you can achieve perfection. Okay, so when do you not achieve perfection is when you get bored. When you are not bored at all, you can achieve perfection, and it helps this thing, design thinking helps you achieve that. Okay, it is a lot of fun. And design thinking uh, uh, it is usually this, right? So this divergent and convergent process, right? So when initially what you do, you go and empathize with people, you go and find out what problems they have, okay, what needs they have. Okay, and after that you synthesize, you put all that data together and come up with concrete problems, or you go in depth and then come up with concrete problems which need solutions, right? So with these you go and ideate again, and then while ideating you create a lot of solutions, which is again divergent, right? Which is again divergent. And after creating a lot of solutions, you pick a few solutions and then you test them. Okay, which again you are converging, right? So it's a very divergent and convergent thing. So problems are really very important. Okay, we need to this first part, if we don't get the right, if we don't find the right problem, then finding the right solution, it becomes difficult, right? So this part is very, very important. Many of the problems are like complex and ambiguous, and the solutions are sometimes uncertain and unclear, right? Sometimes these 5 steps are represented through waves. Okay, because this is not linear, it is not and there are a lot of overlaps between steps, right? So Tim Brown also calls this as what do you call spaces. Instead of saying stages, he calls that spaces. Okay, spaces which overlap, these 5 stages as spaces, right? And then okay, problems. Why problems are important? Okay, because all problems will have, if you think something as a goal, okay, that might not be the goal. Okay, I've used this example before in the class. Okay, so if somebody wants to buy a 5-inch drill, okay, so what they want is not the 5-inch drill, but they want a 5-inch hole in the wall, right? So if they want a 5-inch hole in the wall, it is not that they want the 5-inch hole in the wall, they want they want to hang their family portrait in the wall, right? So so if you go deeper into the goals, you will find out the real goal of people, right? So so your solution could be just that you can use, instead of using a 5-inch drill, you can use a like a sticker which can hang your portrait, right? A sticker nail. So yeah, so there are goals, and every goal will have like a lot of sub goals, right? So, and reframing is very important. Okay, we need to keep asking the whys. Okay, why do you need the 5-inch drill? Why do you need the 5-inch hole on the wall? Okay, why do you so why do you need to hang your portrait of the family? Because maybe the person is lonely, right? He wants to look at the picture of the family, right? So keep asking whys. Okay, sometimes asking whys doesn't work out, because I mean, it does work, but it might misdirect people into some other angle. So you also need to ask so what's. Okay, so you need to ask so what, right? So, and then try to reframe the problem statement itself, right? So if somebody says okay, I want to have like the problem that was given in the morning was how do you find out quality education? How do you have quality education for everyone, right? So what will happen if you have quality education? Okay, so, and then what will happen? Because you can give more opportunities to a lot of children, right? So what will happen if you give up more opportunities, a lot of children? So you have to ask so what's and the whys and the right, and solving the right problem and meeting human needs and capabilities, right? So that is design thinking all about, solving the right problem and meeting human needs and capabilities, right? Right. So now we saw the method, we saw the logic, right? We saw the logic, we saw the method and model, and then you have the tactics. Let's move to the logic part. We've seen the model, and we'll go into the tactics part, right? So tactic part, what these 5 steps that we have taken for convenience sake as 5 steps. Okay, what are these, what are these 5 steps? Okay, the first is this empathy, right? So what you are basically trying to do is trying to find out the needs of people, okay, and the problems that they have. Get an in-depth understanding of that, of people, who they are, what they think, how they think, right? So and all that, right? So empathy is generally not only important in design thinking, it is really important in our life as well. Okay, so there is this museum called Empathy Museum, so you can check out later in Google, right? So what they do is they have shoes of various people, okay, and and the problems of the people and the life of the people is audio tape, okay, and people can wear the shoes. If I choose a person's shoe, I am also given an audio tape of that person. Okay, I can wear that shoe and then also listen to the life story of that person, right? So walking in the shoes of another person, right? So they took that literally, and they've created this thing called Empathy Museum. And then there's one more organization in Canada called Roots of Empathy, okay, where the children, right? So where children in school, how do they develop empathy for children in school? Okay, they allow small toddlers, right? So like, or small babies, so 1-year-old baby or 2-year-old, 3-year-old toddlers into the school, and they kind of these children observe this baby. They see what all the baby does. Okay, through that they try to inculcate the feeling of empathy in all children, right? So but how do we use this in our design thinking process? What are the methods and tools, right? So one is observation, okay, then you have shadowing, Okay, so observation is you are just going there and observing. Okay, shadowing is the difference between that is important. Shadowing is you are doing the same things that your subject is doing. Okay, you want to develop something for somebody, that the what all that person does, you also go and do. That is shadowing, right? And then you have in situation, you go and watch this everything in the situation where this is happening, where the problem is happening. Then you interview people. Then there is also this concept called context mapping, which I'll leave out, which I would leave out for now. But I would like to show you this video of shadowing. uh, okay, let me I don't know if you are able to hear it. Earlier you said you are not able to hear the voice. But you can watch the video and I can explain you what it is. So it's a school principal is shadowing the student to find out the problem of a student. Okay, and then implement solutions there in the school. Okay. So look at all the things that this lady who is a assistant principal does. So she's also running. Okay, they have a PT class and she's also running, right? And I'll just show you what all she does, right? So she goes herself and sits in the class along with the student. Okay, and she does everything the student does, right? So okay, she's also mm, yeah, the fully participating in that student's entire day. She's doing that. Okay. Okay, when you do that, you fully understand what the student undergoes, right? So like whatever your subject undergoes. Okay, so there is a point where I'll just stop here. There's a point where she says that there are multiple lunch breaks. Okay, the school gives multiple lunch breaks, and so each class have a different lunch break, but there is a bell that goes, and the student tries to get up during a bell when it is not meant for them. Okay, and actually the vice principal herself is feels like as an urge to get up during that time, during the lunch time. Okay, so all these things, all these small nuances, you will really not understand if you just observe. If you do the shadowing thing, you'll be really able to understand all the small things, small nuances, small problems that could bother people. Okay, for whom you are creating a solution, right? And then you have right, so the next step after you do all these things. Okay, you come up with your observations, your understandings, right? So after you do all that, you need to synthesize all these things, you need to put them together, and then say these are the problems that are there, and these are the problems for which I'm going to find the solution, right? For which you use this insights, right? So you use tools like empathy map, right? And then you have empathy. I'm not going to cover all these things now. I'm just showing all these things. Most of you who have undergone this already know many of these. right? So then you can use persona, the storyboard, and this framework called jobs to be done. Then you can also use journey map, you can use ecosystem mapping, right? Then you have this iceberg model, affinity mapping. All these things you can use to understand this what your what the person whom you want to create something is undergoing, right? Right. So empathy map is about think, feel, see, do, right? So also here, okay, think, feel. Okay, so what is the person actually thinking, what is the person actually feeling? Okay, that's very important, the subtle difference between that thinking and feeling. Okay, so many of us get that wrong, right? So that we need to take care. What is feeling is actually the feeling, the emotional part. It's not thinking. Okay, but we while using the language, we always say I feel. Okay, I feel, and we use the word I feel, and then we say our opinion. Okay, it is just what we think, it's not what we feel, right? Those are those opinions will be part of think, and what you actually feel, the emotional part would be in your feel. And then you have your say and do and hear. Okay, with all that you create you put all that together, and then you'll most often surprise yourself with the problems that that you find out from this process, right? And then after doing that, okay, so this is the whole process, right? So the empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Okay, so you do these things. I've just put all these things together for easier understanding. So observation, shadowing, in situ, interviewing, context mapping, right? Then you have empathy map, persona, storyboards, jobs to be done, all these models, right? After that, what you do is you come up with a problem statement or a how might be statement. Okay, and then you can also use the agile user story format for that. And then you create some challenge mapping. Okay, so challenge mapping is nothing but you come up with this different how might be questions and how different problems, you putting similar problems together. Okay, putting similar problems together, that is challenge mapping. And after that we get into the ideate stage. After you put, say, all the problems together, so you have few main problems, right? So among these are the main problems for which I am going to solve. Among this, you can also choose which are the problems I am going to solve immediately, prioritize, and then choose, and then do it. Or if you think all those problems are important, you can all take all those problems and then you can ideate for them. Okay, so this is another nice video for how might we form question formation. It is very important that it should not be too narrow or too broad. The how might be question should never be too narrow or broad. Okay, I think copy and paste. Or sorry, let me do the slide share and then click on it. Okay. Okay, so it says it's a broad question. Okay, how might we redesign public toilets in India? It's a very broad question. Okay. How might we create a doorknob for Indian toilet that's clean, safe, and invites user in? Okay, this is very, very narrow. It only talks about the doorknob of the toilet. Okay. Okay, how might we create a sense of safety in public toilets? Okay, and so it's from redesign, it has gone little deeper, but it has not gone very deep. Okay, it's only talking about the sense of safety. This is one of the problems. Okay, how do we make people use public toilet in India? This is one of the problems, right? It should have a sense of safety, right? So for that particular thing, you can ideate. Okay, that is how you have to create how might be questions. It should be a balance, good balance between both these sides. It shouldn't be broad or too narrow, right? And then you have okay, so I think I used this example in the classroom, okay, earlier. So children's if you take for children's activity class, so I want to create a startup which provides activity classes for children. Okay, so the questions might be like this. Okay, how might we make the activity class safe for children? Okay, how might we help children, parents discover new activity classes? Discovery, one is about safety, one is about discovery, and then one is about accessibility, right? So and then right, so challenge mapping and expanding how might be questions. Okay, here also again what they are talking about laddering here is your when you are having these how might be questions, you can again ladder your how might be questions, like from broad to narrow. Okay, and group these together, group all these things together. Okay, then from this middle part, okay, problem solving, how might be agile user story, and after you have defined these are the problems which I'm going to create solution, then you go into the ideate part, right? So when it is ideation, is all about how your diversity, how different solutions you're creating, and it is always about quantity and not quality. Okay, of course quality is important, but when you create a lot of there is a assumption that when you create a lot of quantity, there will be some quality as well in it, right? So that is more, quantity is more important, right? And then dream phase, okay, in this insights phase, what else do you do? You explore diverse solutions before narrowing down. Okay, and this is where we need to be very careful. We should fall in love with the problem and not our solution. Okay, we might be creating a lot of solution, we should not get stuck to with the solution. Okay, leave aside the solution, move forward, create more solutions, right? So go broad. Okay, when you're ideating, when you're using tools like brainstorming, okay, always avoid judgment of ideas. Okay, so you can, and then after you create a lot of ideas, you can link multiple ideas. You can also do co-creation with customers if possible. So so you have to hear every voice of the table, right? So that is important. Some of the techniques, there are a lot of techniques, I mean umpteen techniques available for ideation. Okay, so I've broadly divided them into various groups, right? So one is so inspiration based. Okay, these are inspiration based techniques. Okay, one is a tool called walk in the wild, one is a tool called a neo combination, another tool called biomimicry. So biomimicry is a tool where you get inspired from nature, and to when you're creating solutions, right? So neo combination is using new technologies to create solutions. Okay, new startups and new technologies to this do and ideas that they use, new startups and new technologies, ideas that they use to get inspired. Likewise, there are and then you have questioning status quo. Okay, so you're challenging assumptions, you are asking a lot of questions, and then that is questioning status quo, right? Through which also you can create solutions. Then there are a lot of improvisation based techniques, right? So you narrow down your solutions, and then try to improve them. And then you have action game based techniques. Okay, So one is this your brainstorming, brain dumping, brain writing, and all that. Then game storming, then a sketch and brainstorming. Okay, so you need, instead of just talking, telling your ideas, you are sketching it out, and then you have acting out, chariots, and then you have exquisite cops. Okay, fishbowl, lot. Okay, there are a lot of other models. I'm not going to go into each one of these, but what we can do now is we can. Are you all there?
Yes,
So
sir.
silent. So let's break the silence. Okay, let's do a small activity. Okay, let's do a small ideation activity. Okay, so do all of you have a paper and a pen at your disposal immediately, which you can use? Okay, so if you all have a paper and a pen, what you can do is you can, there is a problem. Okay, so the problem is this. Okay, the problem is this. We did one activity during a class. We did a writing activity. Now we are going to do another activity based on the same problem. Okay, so there is, why don't men do household work? Okay, so that is a problem, right? So there is a view that why don't I mean, to have equality in the house, and also to avoid a lot of problems like divorces and all that. So when you have men do your household tasks as well, a lot of these problems get solved, right? So this is the question. Okay, so the question is, how might we make men feel that doing household work is valuable of their time? Okay, so it is coming from an insight where if you read some of these articles, there are some insights about this problem, and it comes from that insight. Okay, how might we make men feel that doing household work is valuable of their time? Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to use a technique called crazy eights. Okay, so basically what you are going to do is you're going to take a sheet of paper like this. Okay, and you're going to, are you able to see this paper? You're going to, okay, have this as 8, you're going to fold this into 8 pieces, right? So you're going to fold this into 8 pieces, right, like this, and then like this. Okay, 4.
No, the thing is not visible. Like only your screen is visible as of now.
Okay, my screen is visible, I'm sorry. One second. Let me stop screen sharing for a moment and then get back again.
Yeah.
So are you able to see this paper? I'm using a used paper, but you can use a fresh paper, right? So just fold this paper into 4 parts, right, like this. Four parts like this, right? And then after you fold that paper into 4 parts, again fold it into 2 halves, so that you have 8 pieces, right? So now I have 8 pieces, right? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 pieces, right? So do that, and then let's start the timer. Okay, and the question is this. Okay, we are going to ideate on this question using sketches. You're going to draw the solutions that you think are there for this problem. Okay, the problem is, how might we make men feel that doing household work is valuable of their time? Okay, that is the question. How might we, I'm repeating again, how might we make men feel that doing household work is valuable of their time? Okay, so you're going to ideate on this. Shall I start? Shall I start the timer? Okay, so you can take, let's reduce the time. You have to sketch each in 40 seconds. Let's not have 1 minute, so let's have 40 seconds. So 4 into, I mean 8 into 40, so it's like roughly 3 minutes. 1 second, okay, let me 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay, let me start. Okay, I'm starting. So every 40 seconds you must have completed one idea of yours in that 8 pieces. Okay, we are reaching 40 seconds. You must have done one now, one idea now. You should be in the second idea now. Are you all doing it? It's fun. Even if you think you cannot draw, please try. Make some, put some sketch figures and all that. Okay, whatever you should have, you should be in your third now. Whatever you have done in your childhood, right? Like all those stick figures. You can put some stick figures or whatever you can even add text with the sketches. Have you done with the third one? Should be in the fourth one now. Yeah. Now you should be in your fifth one. I'm sorry, I was wrong initially. It's not 3 minutes 20 seconds. Should be in your fifth one now. Yeah, now you need to be in your sixth one. Come on, people, you have only 2 more left. Okay, Should have only 2 more left, or hurry up. Exactly 80 seconds left. Okay. Should be in your 7th one now. Last one, 7th, we're going to complete last one. Okay. Should have started your last eighth sketch now. Exactly at 5:20, I'll stop. When 5 minutes 20 seconds, I will stop. And whatever you're done is good enough, right? Whatever you're done, how many ever you're done is good enough. So don't worry about that. Just stop it. Okay, I'm stopping. Right. So have you completed? How many of you have done it? How many of you have done it? Can you awesome. Can you show yours? Can some of you show yours? You can switch on your camera and show. So Professor Hemakumar is showing it. No, Professor, not able to see it. You're on mute as well. You're on mute.
Yeah. It's not clear. I actually put it in a notebook or something.
Oh, okay. Now I'm able to see it. Okay. Can you show one by one and okay, if you don't mind, can you show and you explain your solution?
Yeah, one solution will be like when we work for a day, we'll have a trip to Munar.
Okay. Nice.
And each work will be whatever work you do, you will get money for that.
Okay.
Okay, and consider it as a workout kind of thing. So you do it, and it is helpful to grow your muscles.
Okay.
And I don't know whether I have understood it correct or not. Like we have to do. How might we able to do the
How
household?
might we make people think that
Yeah. It's a part of the
men think
day.
that doing household work is worthy of their time.
Yeah.
That's a question.
Fine. And like we call all the friends and make them work as a team.
Okay. Okay. Good time to spend with friends as well.
Yes. That's some of the things.
Awesome. Okay. Can anyone else before I share my screen? Next, Ragavi has raised her hand. Okay, Ragavi, can you show yours? Can you show your sketches and explain what it is? Or anybody else who would like to volunteer and show their sketches and explain? Dr. Hemakumar solutions were great. Dr. Hemakumar solutions were great. Similarly, is there anybody else?
Raghavi, you want to share it? Raghavi, are you there?
Okay, you can also speak and explain what it is so that we get an idea of what it is. I think you could put your camera in the other mode.
Time spending with the home.
It's a mobile camera, right? Can you tilt the camera this way?
Sorry. Sir, my phone having some issues. Sir.
Okay, no problem, no
Like-
problem. You carry on then. You carry on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You please.
So then maintaining better relationship with family members, especially
Okay.
wife.
Okay.
And like doing what? Exercise.
Okay. Okay. Same point which Dr.
Make
Hemukumar also said.
family members happy.
Okay.
Physically engaged.
Mm.
And, reduce wife's burden.
Mm.
Knowing home difficulties, works related, sir.
Okay. Okay.
So, 7 only completed, sir.
No problem. No problem. Good try. It's a good try. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Raghavi. Thank you, Dr. Hemukumar, for willing to share your screen and show your this thing. Honest Raj has also raised his hand. Honest Raj, would you also like to share what you have done?
Sure, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Yeah. Wow.
Sir, are we
like
able
those
to see
clouds.
it, sir?
Nice.
First one is parents are involving their male children to do household work.
Okay.
And second one is teach equality to them. Men's and women's also the equality. So student. And then
Okay.
third one is share the household works.
Okay.
And fourth one is understand the feeling of family members.
There are no sketches. It's all text there. Huh?
Having
You
a
should try.
single
You
pen
should try
only,
and
sir.
draw, Honest Raj. I'm seriously telling you, the drawing makes your thinking even better, right?
Yes, sir.
You can refine your ideas by drawing. Okay, it's
Yeah, sure.
like design thinking is also a visual thinking process.
Yes, sir. We'll do next time, sir.
Yeah. Continue.
To know
Please
the
continue.
responsibilities, sir. Because none of them have some responsibilities. So we need to have some responsibilities and know what is it. And sixth one is respect others to do work. In case we have a work, மற்றவங்க வந்து அந்த ஒர்க்கை வந்து ரெஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணணும். நீ பண்ணது சரியில்லை, கொஞ்சம் இந்த மாரி லைக் சம் சேஞ்சஸ்
Awesome point. Yeah.
அதுபடி we need improve, sir. And the last thing is help others to do work, sir.
Okay.
That's it, sir. 7 points only.
Good try, Honest Raj. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So one question I have for all the people who participated in this and who did this activity. So like when you are drawing, like the time was limited, right? So what did you feel when you are drawing? Were you able to ideate all the think about a lot of ideas, eight ideas within the given time? That is question one. And second thing is, while you're drawing, so you can share that experience. And second thing is, while you're drawing, did your ideas get refined somewhere in whichever idea is did it get refined, or what was were you able to think better when you drew it visually? Okay, is the second question. Sharing it would really help. Uh, Dr. Hemakumar, I think you are the right person to share this, right? So you can tell your experience.
Yeah, it was nice actually. Drawing helped me to think more about it, more deep about it. In fact, it gave me a lot of new things to think, new ways.
Okay.
Once I first only up to the first point to draw, first thing when I was about to draw, I was clueless. But when I started it, it came out as a flow.
Okay. You went on a flow.
Yeah. I got lot. I in fact got lot more ideas. Like even doing this practice, I'm winning a marathon competition.
Okay.
Some crazy things. So
Awesome.
I got lot of some crazy ideas. Actually, I was able to see better. That's what one insight that I have got.
Okay. Awesome. You are a good artist yourself. That also I know. So,
Thank you.
Raghavi and Honest Raj, one of you would like to share your experience. What did you think? What did you feel while you are doing it? It's just okay if you don't switch on your camera. You can just unmute yourself and speak.
Sir, it's like a competition.
Okay.
And
What did you think when you're like you completed 7, right? So when you're racing with time, what did you think? Were you able to even at that point in time, were you able to create new ideas? When you
yes, sir.
Yes. So all of you, those who did not participate, please note this, right? So when you are even when you are racing against time, when the time was very limited, I gave only 5 minutes and 20 seconds. People were able to come up with 7, 8 ideas, right? So 40 seconds for each idea, they were able to come up with ideas, right? So that is everybody, every one of us, each one of us is capable of bringing a lot of ideas to the table, and that is what we should do during this ideate stage, right? We should create a lot of ideas during this ideate stage, right? So of course, having a time constraint is a good motivator to come up with that. You can have that, okay? And there are other ways and means through which you can create a lot of ideas, okay? So you have to visual thinking, right? So visual thinking is very important, so that if you draw it, you yourself will be able to really visualize what you can find out holes in your own solution, okay? You can also find out advantages in your own solutions. You can refine your solutions better when you draw it, okay? I'll share my screen and continue this presentation for next 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll close it. I'm sorry to take the time beyond what was given. So let me just share my screen and continue the presentation. Yeah. Right. So you have all these different solutions, right? So different ideation techniques which you can use. Okay, you can try each of these. Each of these is all of these are very good techniques. Okay, you can try all these techniques. And the most popular ones are, of course, your brainstorming and sketch storming. Like this was a sketch, almost like a sketch storm, right? You were drawing out many sketches, right? And then yeah, your brain writing and all that. After you come up with ideas like this, after you come up with multiple ideas like this, you have to select your ideas, okay? Sometimes you need to throw away ideas, okay? So you need to throw away ideas, so that, because you should not hold on to the ideas that you create, the solutions that you create, okay? You need to you should throw out ideas. You should combine them, cluster them, Okay, and then you can name each of these ideas. Okay, when you have similar ideas, you can put these clusters, give them some names. Then you can rate them based on the needs and insights. You already have got your insights, right? From that insights, you can rate whether these ideas are suitable for those needs and insights, right? So you can rate that according to that, and then you can again combine ratings, and then you can discuss and choosing. You can also follow a lot of voting. There are a lot of voting methods. This is the four category method, bingo selection. There are a lot of other voting methods which can use to select the ideas that you want to pursue. Okay, and after that, what you do is, after you select, you create prototypes.